At my family's anniversary party, they called me on stage for what they said was a fun charity act. Within 90 seconds, the hair I'd grown for 15 years fell to the floor like shredded ribbons. My mother gripped my shoulders. My father held the clippers. My sister laughed. Finally! The crowd applauded. I heard myself shatter. This isn't about hair. It's about control, violence wrapped in sugar. And tonight, on a different stage, I'll cut the only thing they still hold over my life, their power. My name is Nora Hale, and I'm standing in the spotlight at the Eldorado Event Center in Santa Fe, watching my mother's manicured fingers dig into my shoulders like talons. The stage lights burn hot against my skin, turning the 200 guests into silhouettes with champagne flutes. This is supposed to be my parents' 40th anniversary celebration. Instead, it's becoming my public execution. "Ladies and gentlemen," my father Robert announces into the microphone, his voice carrying that particular brand of charity gala warmth that I've heard him perfect over decades. As you know, the Whitlock Family Arts Fund has always been about sacrifice and giving. Tonight, our eldest daughter Nora will demonstrate that spirit by donating her beautiful hair to charity. I haven't agreed to this. The words stick in my throat as I try to protest. But my mother Elaine leans close, her breath mint-sharp against my ear. "Don't you dare make a scene. Not tonight." The crowd murmurs approval. Someone shouts, "How wonderful!" from the back. My sister Brianna emerges from stage left, holding up her phone, already live-streaming. The ring light attached to it casts shadows that make her smile look predatory. "I don't consent to this," I manage to say, but the microphone isn't near my mouth. My voice dies somewhere between the stage and the first row of tables. 15 years of growth," Elaine announces to the audience, running her fingers through my dark hair like she's appraising merchandise. "Just think what this sacrifice means, the courage it takes." Brianna circles us with her phone, narrating, "Oh my God, you guys, this is epic! My sister is finally doing something selfless." She zooms in on my face. I see myself reflected in her screen, eyes wide, skin pale under the harsh lights. Robert appears with the clippers. They're already plugged in, the cord snaking across the stage like it was planned all along. Of course it was planned. Everything with my family is choreographed, even their cruelties. "No," I say louder, trying to step back, but Elaine's grip tightens. Her nails break skin through my dress fabric. "Think of the children who need wigs," she hisses, then louder for the crowd. "Such a beautiful gesture of love." The clippers buzz to life. The sound fills the space between my ears, drowning out my thundering heartbeat. Robert brings them to my hairline, and I jerk my head away. "Stop being dramatic," Brianna says into her phone. Then she looks directly at me, her eyes bright with something I've seen since we were children, the pleasure of watching me brought low. "Finally, it's about time someone fixed that mess." The crowd laughs. They think it's a joke, sibling banter. They don't see my mother's fingers pressing into pressure points that make my knees weak. They don't notice how my father positions himself to block any exit. The clippers touch my scalp. The vibration runs through my skull as the first section falls. 15 years of recovery after my spinal surgery. 15 years of growing it back after the surgical prep. 15 years of autonomy, gone in one brutal stroke. Hair rains down onto the stage, onto my lap, onto my mother's designer shoes. The crowd applauds. Someone whistles. The clippers keep moving, strip after strip, while Brianna provides commentary like it's a sporting event. And there goes the side. Look at that transformation. Everyone. I feel the metal teeth nick my scalp behind my ear. Something warm trickles down my neck. Not sweat, blood. My father's hand isn't steady. Or maybe it is. And this is intentional too. When it's over, when I'm shorn like a sheep and the stage is carpeted with my hair, Elaine releases me. She steps forward to address the crowd, leaving me swaying under the lights. "Let's hear it for Nora's contribution to our charity." The applause is thunderous. My legs move without my permission, carrying me off stage. In the wings. I catch my reflection in a mirror, scalp pale and vulnerable, a red streak behind my ear where the clippers bit too deep. My hands shake as I pull out my phone. I angle it to capture the blood on my neck, the traumatized landscape of my head. Then I dial 3 numbers I've helped dozens of my clients call but never needed myself 911. The operator's voice is calm, professional. 911. What's your emergency? I need to report an assault, I say, my voice steady for the first time tonight. Behind me, I hear Brianna's laughter carrying from the stage, telling everyone how much better I look. My thumb hovers over the record button as I walk back toward the main room. Evidence. Everything I learned at Kepler Behavioral Health. Everything I teach my clients about documentation and proof. It all crystallizes into clarity. I'm done being their performance piece. Tonight was their last show. The first time my mother controlled my body. I was 7. She held my wrists while a hairdresser cut my hair into the exact bob she'd chosen from a magazine. "Stop crying," she'd said. "Beauty requires sacrifice." The pattern was set. My body was their canvas, their statement piece, their property to modify. Growing up in Farmington before we moved to Santa Fe, every choice about my appearance came with committee approval. Elaine picked my clothes. Robert chose my activities. Violin because it looked good on applications. Never drums, though I begged. Brianna, 3 years younger, but always their golden child, learned early that mocking my appearance earned our parents' laughter. "Remember when she wanted to dye her hair purple?" Brianna would say at family dinners, and they'd all laugh about my rebellious phase, which consisted of one conversation, immediately shut down. The spinal surgery changed everything. 17 years old, severe scoliosis, a 12-hour operation. They shaved the back of my head to monitor neural function. For months afterward, I wore scarves to hide the naked strip of scalp, the visible scar that ran from my neck into my hairline. Growing it back became my quiet revolution. Each inch was a year of distance from that operating table, from the vulnerability of being unconscious while strangers cut into me. Each inch was choosing to heal on my terms, but even as my hair grew, the control never loosened. When I started working at Kepler Behavioral Health 5 years ago, Elaine called it slumming with victims. When I became a case manager, specializing in helping domestic violence survivors navigate legal systems, she told everyone I was going through a savior complex phase. The irony wasn't lost on me. Every day, I taught clients about power dynamics, about coercive control, about how abusers use public humiliation to maintain dominance. I helped them identify the patterns: isolation, gaslighting, financial control, the erosion of bodily autonomy. Yet every Sunday dinner, I sat at their table while they discussed my appearance like I wasn't there. "She's gained weight. That color washes her out." When will she find a real career? The Whitlock Family Arts Fund was their masterpiece of control, a registered charity that funded local artists, on paper. In reality, it funded Brianna's event planning company, their social status, and their image as Santa Fe's most generous family. They held galas, auctions, benefits. The money moved in circles, always ending up back in their pockets through administrative costs and contracts with Sun Misa Creative, Brianna's company. I knew this. I'd known for years. But knowing and proving are different things, and speaking up meant losing what little piece I'd carved out. Then, last month, everything shifted. The Santa Fe Chronicle ran a feature on my trauma-informed art therapy program at Kepler. We'd received a significant grant, enough to serve 50 more survivors this year. My picture was on the front page of the Life section, smiling, proud, my long hair braided over my shoulder. Brianna's text came within an hour. "Must be nice getting attention for other people's sob stories." Elaine's call came that evening. "You should have told us about the article. We could have mentioned the family fund. This makes it seem like you're working against everything we've built." But it was Robert's email that revealed the real issue. "Your public profile reflects on all of us. We need to discuss your role in the family's public image." The invitation to their anniversary party came with strings attached. I would acknowledge the family fund in any media mentions. I would coordinate my public appearances with them. I would essentially become another asset they managed. I said no. That's when they planned tonight. I see it now. How Brianna's live stream was already titled Shocking Charity Transformation before I even walked on stage. How the Clippers were already there, waiting. How they'd told guests in advance something special would happen. My phone buzzes with Evan's texts. He was in the audience, my date for exactly 3 weeks, still new enough to be shocked by my family's dynamics. Are you okay? What just happened? Where are you? I don't answer. How do you explain decades of erosion to someone who grew up with boundaries respected? How do you say this is normal for them without sounding insane? Instead, I scroll through Brianna's Instagram. The video's already up, edited with music, filters, captions. When your sister finally does something charitable. Charity event, transformation, family love. The comments are flooding in. Most are hearts and fire emojis. But some see it. Did she agree to this? She looks terrified. Why is your mom holding her down? I screenshot everything. Years of working with survivors taught me document first, feel later. The feelings will come, rage, humiliation, grief. But evidence disappears. My reflection in my phone's black screen stops me cold. The bare scalp, the dried blood, the shocked eyes. I look exactly like what I am a woman whose family just demonstrated, publicly and irrevocably, that they believe my body belongs to them. No more, I whisper to the reflection. At Kepler, I've guided hundreds of women through safety planning, through escape, through the legal system. I know every resource, every law, every avenue for justice. They wanted to make me a victim in front of 200 witnesses. Instead, they gave me 200 witnesses to their crime. The emergency room at Christus Saint. Vincent Regional Medical Center smells like disinfectant and floor wax. The triage nurse's eyes widen when she sees my head, the blood crusted behind my ear. Assault, I tell her clearly. I need a forensic exam and photographs for evidence. Dr. Martinez is gentle but thorough. She documents 3 separate lacerations on my scalp, photographs the bruising on my shoulders where Elaine's fingers dug in. Each click of the camera feels like building a wall between who I was 3 hours ago and who I'm becoming now. The patterns on your shoulders are consistent with restraint, she notes clinically. And these cuts, the implement wasn't meant for close contact with skin. Do you feel safe going home? I live alone, I tell her. But I need copies of everything for my attorney. While waiting for the discharge papers, I call Maya Ortiz. We'd been study partners at UNM Law before she passed the bar, and I chose social work. She answers on the second ring despite it being 11:45 at night. Nora, what's wrong? I explain everything in the clinical voice I use with my most traumatized clients, detached, factual, precise. Maya's silence stretches after I finish. Jesus Christ, she finally says. Okay, battery. Absolutely. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, without question. The live stream is gold for evidence. Download it immediately before she deletes it. Screen record if you have to. Get the metadata. How many witnesses? 200, give or take. Beautiful. Email me everything tonight. File the police report first thing tomorrow. Start an incident log. Time. Date. Every detail you remember. Every person who was there. We're going for a restraining order and civil damages. The Santa Fe Police Department station on Camino Entrada is nearly empty at 7:30 Officer Lucia Graves takes my statement with professional detachment until I show her the video. Her expression hardens as she watches my father bring the clippers to my head while my mother holds me in place. This is clear assault, she says. Battery, technically, since they made contact. The fact it was planned, publicized, that's aggravating factors. You want to press charges? Yes. She assigns a case number 2025-4791. I write it down 3 times in my phone, in my notebook, on my hand. Numbers that mean this is real, official, documented. Back at my apartment, I create a new folder on my laptop, Evidence. The Instagram video saves in 3 formats. I transcribe every comment, noting timestamps. Brianna's caption especially finally got her to contribute something meaningful. She looks so much better now, don't you think? Family first, start charity work? Then I see Elaine's comment, posted at 12:17 a.m. So proud of our family's commitment to giving. Some sacrifices are necessary for growth. My phone rings. Robert. You need to drop this nonsense, he says without preamble. Officer Graves called us. Do you have any idea what you're doing to our reputation? Your reputation? I keep my voice level, professional. You assaulted me in front of 200 people. It was for charity. You're being dramatic, as usual. Family doesn't sue family. Nora, come to the house. We'll discuss this like adults. All communication goes through my attorney now. I give him Maya's number and hang up. The event center's management is more helpful than I expected. Kelsey, the events coordinator, emails me the contract within an hour. I'm so sorry about what happened, she writes. We had no idea that was planned. They only told us about a special presentation. No consent form, no release, no documentation that I'd agreed to anything. Just my parents' assumption that my body was theirs to display. I contact 5 guests whose names I remember. 3 respond immediately with variations of shock and offers to provide statements. Jennifer Walsh, who runs a local gallery, writes, I was deeply disturbed by what I witnessed. You clearly didn't consent. If you need testimony, I'm available. The metadata from Brianna's video reveals she'd created the title and hashtags at 6:15 p.m., 2 hours before the event started. Premeditated, planned, packaged for consumption. By noon, I have a folder with 43 pieces of evidence. Photos of my injuries. The video from multiple angles. 3 other guests had filmed portions. Witness contacts, medical records, the police report, screenshots of every comment, every share, every reaction emoji that treats my assault like entertainment. Maya texts, restraining order paperwork ready. Can you come sign it too? I catch my reflection in my laptop screen. The fluorescent light makes my scalp look alien, vulnerable. But my eyes are different than they were yesterday. Harder, clearer. At Kepler, I teach survivors that documentation is power. That evidence is the bridge between being believed and being dismissed. That the legal system, flawed as it is, sometimes provides the only language abusers understand consequences. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. I open it to find a photo from last night. Me on stage, mid-shearing. My face a mask of shock. The caption, you should have just gone along with it. I add it to the evidence folder. Then I forward it to Officer Graves with a note. Harassment beginning. Please add to case file. They think last night broke me. They're wrong. Last night. They handed me every tool I needed to dismantle them. The law doesn't care about family reputation or charitable facades. It cares about evidence. And I have more than enough. The Whitlock Family Arts Fund's Form 990 is public record. I pull it up on my laptop at 4 a.m., unable to sleep, my scalp still tender against the pillow. The numbers tell a story my parents never wanted examined. Total donations received last year, $870,000. Program expenses, $200,000. Administrative costs, $670,000. Nearly 80% overhead, when legitimate nonprofits aim for under 20%. I dig deeper. Sun Mesa Creative, Brianna's company, received $340,000 for event coordination. The address listed for Sun Mesa Brianna's apartment. The registration date, 6 months after she dropped out of college, the same week the Arts Fund suddenly needed a new event contractor. My fingers fly across the keyboard, cross-referencing every grant they claimed to have given. The Santa Fe Youth Orchestra. They received $10,000, not the $50,000 the fund claimed. The Indigenous Artists Collective. No record of any donation. Despite the fund's website highlighting a $30,000 contribution, I call Caleb Monroe at 8 a.m. He's the forensic accountant who volunteers for the shelter where I refer clients. We've worked together on financial abuse cases before. Nora, I heard about what happened Saturday night. Are you okay? I need your help with something bigger, I say. Can you look at some nonprofit filings for me? I send him everything. An hour later, he calls back. This is textbook self-dealing, he says. They're funneling donor money to family members through inflated contracts. The IRS would have a field day, and the New Mexico Attorney General's charity unit, they shut down operations for less than this. The Founders Brunch is in 6 days. I know because the invitation is still on my refrigerator, held by a magnet from Kepler. Celebrating 40 years of family philanthropy. $500 a plate. Their biggest fundraising event of the year. I draft the letter on Kepler letterhead, with Dr. Lila Grant's permission. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Whitlock. This communication serves as formal notice regarding the assault committed against me on September 21st at your anniversary celebration, as documented in Police Report Number 2025-4791. I am prepared to pursue both criminal charges and civil litigation for battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and false imprisonment. The evidence includes video documentation, medical records, and witness statements from multiple attendees. However, I am willing to consider alternative resolution if the following conditions are met within 72 hours. 1. A public apology acknowledging the assault, to be published in the Santa Fe Chronicle and read at your Founders Brunch. 2. Immediate removal of all video and photographic content of the assault from all social media platforms. 3. A $50,000 donation to Kepler Behavioral Health's trauma recovery program, not from fund money, but from your personal accounts. 4. My complete and permanent dissociation from the Whitlock Family Arts Fund, with written agreement that my name and image will never be used in fund materials. Should you decline these terms, I will proceed with criminal charges for assault and battery civil litigation seeking damages, a formal complaint to the New Mexico Attorney General's office regarding financial irregularities within the Whitlock Family Arts Fund, including documentation of self-dealing and misrepresentation of charitable giving. Public disclosure of evidence to media outlets. You have until Tuesday at 5 p.m. to respond through your attorney, Nora Hale. I send it via certified mail and email, copying Maya. Then I compile a second package, every piece of financial evidence, every inflated invoice, every misrepresented donation. This one goes to Raina Choate at the Santa Fe Chronicle, with a note, hold until Friday. If you don't hear from me by then, publish. My phone rings within 2 hours. Elaine, how dare you threaten us after everything we've done for you? Everything you've done to me, I correct. And it's not a threat. It's a choice. Accountability or exposure? You ungrateful. I hang up and forward the call log to Maya. Robert's email comes next. All businessman now. Your demands are extortion. We'll sue you for defamation if you proceed. Maya responds for me. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. We have 200 witnesses and video evidence. Proceed at your own risk. That evening, I meet with Drs. Grant and 3 other Kepler board members. They review everything, the assault, the evidence, my plan for the brunch if my parents refuse my terms. You're sure about this? Dr. Grant asks. Going public. I've spent 5 years teaching survivors to stand up to their abusers. I say, how can I do less? She nods slowly. Then Kepler stands with you. We'll have our legal team on standby. Wednesday at 4:58 p.m. Maya texts, they responded. I open Elaine's email, sent through their attorney. Ms. Hale's demands are rejected in their entirety. The family gathering was a celebration of charity. Any perceived slight was unintentional. We encourage Ms. Hale to seek therapy for her obvious emotional instability. Legal action will be met with counterclaims for harassment and extortion. I forward it to Raina at the Chronicle, to the Attorney General's office, to Officer Graves. Then I open my laptop and begin preparing my presentation for the Founders Brunch. Slide 1A photo of me from Saturday night. Blood visible on my neck. Slide 2, the donation flowchart, showing money moving from donors to Sun Misa Creative. Slide 3, the real numbers versus the reported numbers. Slide 4, the Whitlock Family Arts Fund, a case study in charity fraud. They want a show at their brunch. I'll give them one they'll never forget. Dr. Lila Grant's office at Kepler overlooks the Santa Fe Plaza. Thursday morning. She pours me tea while reviewing my presentation slides. You're going to need allies in that room, she says. Let me make some calls. Within 2 hours, she's secured something better than I imagined. I'll be attending the brunch as Kepler's representative, she announces. I've also purchased a table. You won't be alone. Raina Choate from the Chronicle meets me at a coffee shop on Guadalupe Street. She's already investigated the fund independently. I've been tracking nonprofit irregularities for 3 years, she says, sliding a folder across the table. Your parents' fund has been on my radar, but I never had an insider willing to talk. She shows me her notes, interviews with artists who never received promised grants, venues that were paid fraction of what the fund reported. I can't publish without verification, but with your evidence. She trails off meaningfully. Sunday, I tell her. Everything happens Sunday at the brunch. She nods. I'll be there. As a guest, not media. I bought my ticket months ago for a different story. But my photographer will be outside, just in case. The Attorney General's charity unit moves faster than expected. By Thursday afternoon, investigator Marcus Webb calls. We've received your complaint. These are serious allegations. We're opening a preliminary inquiry. They're having their major fundraising event Sunday, I inform him. There's a pause. Interesting timing. Public events are public record. Perhaps someone from our office should attend. I hire AV Solutions to record the brunch. Full event coverage, I specify to the technician. James. Every angle, professional quality, admissible in court. You expecting trouble? He asks. I'm expecting truth, I reply. Friday. I meet with 5 major donors to the fund. Jennifer Walsh arranged it. Quiet conversations at her gallery after hours. I show them the financial documents, the inflated numbers, the money flowing to Sun Mesa Creative. My God, whispers Harold Kimura, who donated $100,000 last year. We thought we were supporting emerging artists. You were supporting Brianna's Instagram lifestyle, I say flatly. By the end of the meeting, 3 commit to attending Sunday with questions for my parents. 2 say they'll withdraw funding regardless. Word spreads through Santa Fe's philanthropic circuit like wildfire. Saturday morning brings an unexpected ally. Evan texts, I know you probably think I'm a coward for not stopping them. I was shocked, but I recorded it. The whole thing. Different angle than the Instagram post. If you need it, it's yours. His video shows something Brianna's didn't. My mother's face as she gripped my shoulders, the calculation in her eyes, the small smile when the first lock of hair fell. I forward it to Maya. Her response is immediate. This changes things. This shows clear premeditation and satisfaction. It's damning. That afternoon, I prepare my materials. 30 copies of the financial analysis, bound professionally. The TRO application, ready for emergency filing. Business cards for Maya, Dr. Grant, and the Chronicle. My laptop with the full presentation loaded, plus 2 backup USB drives. Then I go shopping. The suit I choose is severe, powerful, charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. But it's the hair appointment that matters most. You sure? The stylist asks, looking at my ravaged scalp. Make me look like I chose this, I tell her. She works magic. What emerges is intentional, a precisely styled pixie cut that shows the healing cuts as battle scars rather than wounds. I look militant, controlled, dangerous. Saturday night. Brianna texts, Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Mom says you RSVP'd. Yes. Finally coming to your senses. I don't respond. Let them think I'm coming to apologize, to submit. Their arrogance has always been their weakness. Dr. Grant calls at 9 p. Final check-in. You can still back out. Could you? If it were you? I ask. Her laugh is short, understanding. No. I couldn't. We'll be there at 10:30. Event starts at 11. Right. Right. I've reserved table 12 under Kepler's name. And Nora, I've contacted some people. The president of the Community Foundation will be there. The director of United Way Santa Fe. 3 city council members. They're all very interested in nonprofit accountability. My phone buzzes with another unknown number. This time, it's a voice message. You think you're smart, but family is family. Blood is blood. You'll regret this. I save it. Forward it to Officer Graves. Add it to the evidence file. Sunday morning arrives gray and windy, unusual for Santa Fe in September. I wake at 5 a.m., unable to sleep longer. My scalp has healed enough that it no longer hurts. Just feels exposed, sensitive to the air. I review everything one more time. The presentation, the documents, the recordings, the legal filings. 2 years ago, I helped a client take down her abusive husband who'd hidden behind his position as a beloved high school principal. The process was the same document. Prepare, then expose in a space where they can't control the narrative. Maya texts at 7. TRO filed electronically for emergency consideration. Judge Martinez is reviewing. Should have answer by 10. At 8. I park outside the La Fonda on the plaza, the fund's chosen venue for the brunch. I watch the staff setting up through the windows, round tables with white linens, a podium at the front, a screen for presentations. Perfect. My phone rings. Robert. Last chance. Nora, come to the house. We'll work this out as a family. Family doesn't assault family. I echo his words back to him. See you at 11. I hang up and turn off my phone. No more distractions. No more attempts at manipulation. It's 9:45 a.m. Time to go to war. The email arrives at 10:05 a.m. Marked urgent from Maya. TRO granted. Effective immediately. They cannot come within 3 meters of you at any public event. They cannot photograph, record, or touch you. Print 3 copies now. I pull into a FedEx office, print the order on their best paper, and slide each copy into a red folder. The weight of legal authority in my hands feels like armor. At 10:15, I send the cease and desist to Brianna's personal email, Ms. Whitlock. This letter serves as formal notice to immediately cease and desist the distribution of video content depicting the assault on my person dated September 21st. The content was recorded and distributed without my consent, causing ongoing emotional distress and reputational harm. You have 24 hours to remove all content from all platforms. Failure to comply will result in legal action for invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and violation of New Mexico's criminal harassment statutes. Your published statement that this was planned and that you were finally able to execute this assault constitutes admission of premeditation. Govern yourself accordingly. Her response comes in 12 minutes. LMAO, are you seriously this dramatic? It was for charity. You psycho. Everyone loved it. You're just jealous because for once the attention wasn't on your victim complex. Mom's right. You need serious help. Can't wait to see you try to ruin the brunch like you ruin everything else. Security knows all about you, BTW. Perfect. Another admission, another threat, another piece of evidence. I forward it to Maya with a note. Please add to the harassment file. At 10:30, I meet Dr. Grant and the Kepler team in the La Fonda lobby. She's brought 6 board members, all dressed in professional severity. Marcus Webb from the AG's office is already there, studying the room like he's memorizing every detail. Investigator Webb. I introduce myself. Ms. Hale. We received additional complaints about the fund yesterday. 3 artists who were promised grants that never materialized. Your documentation triggered something larger. He hands me his card. I'll be at table 8 with my colleague. We're here as interested members of the public, understand, but very interested. James from AV Solutions has his cameras set up discreetly. 3 angles, he confirms. Every word, every reaction, broadcast quality. The ballroom fills quickly. I recognize half of Santa Fe's social elite, the kind of people whose donations matter, whose opinions shape the nonprofit landscape. The Chronicle isn't the only media present. I spot someone from the New Mexican and a blogger who covers charity fraud. Then I see them. Elaine enters like she owns the air itself. Robert beside her in his traditional power stance. Brianna follows, already filming herself for Instagram. They haven't seen me yet. I take my seat at table 12. Within seconds, Elaine's eyes find me. Her face cycles through emotions, surprise, anger, then something colder. She whispers to Robert, who immediately signals security. Time for the first move. I stand, walk to the security desk, and present the TRO. This is a lawful restraining order, I say clearly, my voice carrying. The Whitlock family cannot come within 3 meters of me. Please ensure this is enforced. The security chief reads it, eyes widening. Ma'am, this is their event. It's a public event in a public venue. Maya interjects, appearing beside me. The order is valid and enforceable. Violation is a criminal offense. Elaine approaches, stops when security holds up a hand. 3 meters, Mrs. Whitlock. This is ridiculous, she hisses, but stays back. The crowd is already noticing, whispering. I return to my table as the program begins. Robert takes the podium, his practiced smile never wavering. Welcome to 40 years of giving back. Sue, during his speech, I open my laptop, connect to the venue's presentation system through the link James provided. My slides are ready, waiting for the right moment. Elaine speaks next, talking about sacrifice, family values, the importance of supporting the arts. Just last week, she says, we had a beautiful demonstration of charitable giving at our anniversary celebration. Now, I'd like to speak to that, I say, standing. The room turns. Elaine's smile freezes. As the person who was assaulted at that celebration, I have a different perspective to share. Security. Robert starts. I hold up the red folder. Restraining order. I have the right to speak at a public event, and I have evidence to present about where your donations really go. Dr. Grant stands. Kepler Behavioral Health supports Ms. Hale's right to speak about her experience and the fund's practices. Harold Kimura stands. As a major donor, I'd like to hear this. Jennifer Walsh joins him. As would I. The security chief looks between the TRO and the Whitlocks, makes his choice. Ma'am, you have the floor, but please maintain the required distance. I click to my first slide, the photo from the assault, blood visible on my neck. Gasps ripple through the room. Last Saturday, I was physically restrained and forcibly shaved on stage without consent. This assault was premeditated, documented, and celebrated. I click to Brianna's Instagram screenshot. Note the timestamp on the original post title, created 2 hours before the event. Brianna shoots up. You're lying. You're just Ms. Whitlock. I address her directly. Would you like to explain your comment about this being what you finally achieved? Or your text this morning calling it planned? Her mouth opens, closes. Elaine grabs her arm, pulls her down. But today isn't just about assault, I continue, clicking to the financial slides. It's about fraud. The room goes completely silent. The slide shows a simple flowchart. Donor money enters the Whitlock Family Arts Fund. $340,000 flows out to Sun Mesa Creative. I click again. Sun Mesa Creative's registration, Brianna Whitlock, sole proprietor. Last year, almost 40% of donations went to a company owned by their daughter. I state, for services that cost other nonprofits 1/10 of that price. Murmurs rise. Robert starts toward me, but security blocks him. 3 meters, sir. I click to the next slide. The Indigenous Artists Collective promised $30,000, received nothing. Santa Fe Youth Orchestra, advertised as receiving $50,000, actually got 10. Where did the rest go? Caleb Monroe stands from table 12. I'm a forensic accountant. I've reviewed these documents. This is textbook self-dealing, potentially criminal fraud. You ungrateful bitch, Brianna screams, her phone still recording. We gave you everything. What you gave me, I say, letting the video from Saturday play on screen, Evan's angle showing Elaine's satisfied smile as my hair fell, was trauma. What you gave this community was lies. The room erupts, donors stand, shouting questions. Robert grabs the microphone at the podium. These are baseless accusations from a disturbed Marcus Webb rises from table 8. Mr. Whitlock, I'm Investigator Webb with the Attorney General's Charity Oversight Division. We'll need to see your financial records immediately. The blood drains from Robert's face. We need our attorney. You'll have that opportunity, Webb's colleague adds, standing beside him. But as of now, this event is suspended pending investigation. Elaine lunges past the 3-meter mark, her manicured finger pointed at my face. You destroyed us, your own family. Security steps between us. Ma'am, you're violating the restraining order. I don't give a damn about that's assault with intent, Officer Graves announces, entering from the back. I hadn't known she was coming. Mrs. Whitlock, step back or I'll arrest you. Elaine freezes. The entire room watches as she calculates, then retreats, her face twisting with rage. Jennifer Walsh approaches the podium. I'm withdrawing my pledge immediately, and I want a full accounting of my previous donations. Same. Harold Kimura adds, this is unconscionable. The dominoes fall, one by one. Donors stand, denounce, withdraw. Raina from the Chronicle is typing furiously on her phone, her photographer now inside. Capturing everything. Brianna, still filming, spins to face the crowd. You don't understand, she's always been jealous. This is about her not being the center of attention. Tell them. Mom. But Elaine has gone silent, staring at the screen where the financial documents still glow. The real numbers. The lies exposed. Dr. Grant takes the microphone. Kepler Behavioral Health would like to announce that we've established a new fund for survivors of family violence. If anyone would like to redirect their donations from the Whitlock Fund, we're accepting contributions today. That's our money, Robert shouts. No, I say quietly, but the microphone catches it. It was never yours. It belonged to the artists you cheated, the community you deceived, the trust you violated. Webb and his colleague are at the Whitlock's table now, serving papers. This is a notice of investigation. Do not destroy any documents. Do not transfer any funds. Consider all accounts frozen pending review. Brianna drops her phone. It clatters on the marble floor, the sound sharp in the sudden quiet. She looks at me, and for the first time in our lives, I see fear in her eyes. Not jealousy, not spite, actual fear. You planned this, she whispers. I learned from the best, I reply. You taught me that public humiliation is power. The difference is, I used truth instead of assault. The crowd begins to disperse, but not quietly. Conversations buzz with shock, anger, disgust. The president of the Community Foundation approaches the AG investigators, offering cooperation. 3 more donors pledge to Kepler on the spot. Robert makes one last attempt, his business voice cracking. Nora, we can work this out. Family. Family doesn't drug test your hair to control you. Family doesn't hold you down and shave your head. Family doesn't steal from the community and expect you to stay silent. I close my laptop with finality. We're done being family. As I pack my things, Elaine finds her voice. You think you've won. You have no idea what you've started. We have connections, lawyers, ways to... Mrs. Whitlock, Webb interrupts. I'd advise you to stop talking. Anything you say can be used in the investigation. She snaps her mouth shut, but her eyes promise vengeance. I walk past their table, maintaining the required 3 meters, feeling the weight of 200 eyes. But I don't stop. Don't look back. Don't give them anything more. At the door, Dr. Grant catches up. That was incredibly brave. That was necessary, I correct. Behind us, I hear the AV team packing up their equipment, every second recorded, every word captured, evidence for whatever comes next, criminal charges, civil suits, the complete dismantling of their charitable facade. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. News traveling fast. 3 reporters want statements. Also, the TRO worked perfectly. They can't come near you without risking arrest. I step into the Santa Fe sunshine, my short hair catching the wind differently than before. Everything is different than before. The ballroom hasn't emptied yet when I return from the lobby. I have one final piece to deliver, and it needs witnesses. "Before everyone leaves," I announce, my voice cutting through the chaos. "There's something else." The crowd pauses. Even the Whitlocks, being questioned by investigators, turn to look. I pull out the formal complaint, already filed with the court. Maya hands copies to the venue's event coordinator. This is a civil suit for assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and defamation. Damages set at $2 million. Robert's face goes purple. $2 million? You're insane. That's just the personal suit. I continue. The AG will handle the fraud charges. The IRS will be interested in the self-dealing, and every donor who was defrauded has standing to sue separately. I turn to address the room, but especially the 3 of them. You wanted to make a spectacle of taking my autonomy. Today, I'm taking everything else. Harold Kimura approaches the podium. I'd like to make an announcement. As of this moment, I'm pledging $100,000 to Kepler's Survivor Fund, the exact amount I gave to the Whitlock Fund last year. Others follow. Within minutes, Kepler has pledges totaling $300,000. Each announcement is another nail in the Whitlock's coffin. Brianna, desperate, tries one last manipulation. This is about her being mentally unstable. She's been in therapy for years. Tell them about your issues. Nora, you're right, I say calmly. I have been in therapy to heal from growing up with narcissistic abusers who convinced me my body was their property. Therapy taught me to recognize abuse, document it, and fight back. Dr. Grant adds, "There's no shame in seeking help. There is shame in destroying someone publicly for entertainment." The Chronicle photographer captures Brianna's face crumbling, Elaine's mask finally slipping to show pure rage, Robert's businessman facade revealing the bully beneath. Marcus Webb stands at their table. "We'll need you to come to our office tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bring all financial records from the last 5 years. And Mrs. Whitlock." He turns to Brianna. "Your company's records too. Every invoice, every payment, every communication with the fund." "I want a lawyer," Brianna whimpers. "You'll need one." Webb confirms. The major donors have formed a group near the exit, exchanging contact information, planning their collective response. The president of the Community Foundation is on his phone, already calling an emergency board meeting. I approach one final person, the venue's manager. "The Whitlocks signed the contract for this event, correct?" "Yes, but then they're liable for my presence here, as I was an invited guest to a public event. The restraining order violation happened on your premises. You'll want to preserve your security footage." He nods quickly, understanding the liability. As I pack my laptop, Elaine makes her last stand. "You've destroyed 40 years of work, 40 years of building something meaningful." "No," I say, meeting her eyes for the last time. "You built 40 years of lies on the backs of artists who needed support. You used charity as a shield for greed, and you taught me exactly how power works by wielding it against me my whole life." I hold up the clippers, the same ones from last week, sealed in an evidence bag. "These are going to the civil trial as Exhibit A, the instrument of assault, still with my hair in the blades. You were so confident in your control. You didn't even clean them." Robert lunges forward but stops at exactly 3 meters. Security between us. "You're not our daughter anymore." "I never was," I reply. "I was your prop, your project, your punching bag. Now I'm your consequence." The Santa Fe police arrive to escort the Whitlocks out, ensuring they maintain distance from me. As they exit, Brianna turns back, mascara streaking her cheeks. "I'll ruin you online. I have followers who just watched you admit to assault." Raina from the Chronicle interjects. The live stream from last week, downloaded by hundreds. Your confession today, recorded by professional cameras. Your threats via text screenshot and archived. You've already ruined yourself. The ballroom empties slowly. Donors shake my hand. Investigators exchange cards. Journalists request interviews. But I'm watching the Whitlocks retreat, their dynasty crumbling in real time. Dr. Grant stands beside me. How do you feel? I touch my short hair, feeling the freedom in its deliberate style, like I finally cut away everything that was killing me. The final donor leaves. The final reporter packs up. James from AV Solutions hands me a drive with all the footage. No charge, he says. This was justice. I was honored to document it. By 2 p.m., the Whitlock Family Arts Fund website shows only an error message. Their social media accounts are flooded with demands for refunds. The Chronicle's online edition already has the headline, "Prominent Santa Fe Family Charity Exposed as Fraud." I walk out of La Fonda into the afternoon light. Maya waits by the entrance with a bottle of champagne. To boundaries, she toasts. To consequences, I reply. My phone buzzes with a notification. The AG's office has officially opened a criminal investigation. The IRS has been notified. 3 major law firms have reached out to donors about a class action suit. In 24 hours, the Whitlocks went from Santa Fe royalty to pariahs. Their charity is dead. Their reputation is destroyed. Their control is shattered. And me, I'm free. Not just from them, but from the fear that standing up would cost too much. Sometimes the price of dignity is everything. Today, I learned that everything they had was built on nothing but intimidation and lies. The clippers that stole my hair became the evidence that stole their empire. They taught me that public humiliation was power. They were right. They just never imagined I'd be the one wielding it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I want to know, where are you listening from? Please share in the comments below so we can connect with each other. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. Your own experiences and perspectives matter, and I'd love to hear them.